Hey guys, it's Crossroads here. Today I wanted to talk to you about a big shakeup in the SEC that has massive ramifications. Yes, for crypto, although I don't cover that much here on this channel, but really for three companies in particular that I do hold and I think that will have a big impact on in the near future. What is the news here? Well, it's namely this that Trump has actually vowed on day one that he will fire Gary Gensler from the SEC. The headline here, of course, from Barron's: Trump looks ready to shake up the SEC while Wall Street will be smiling. There's a lot of smiles to go around. The issue with Gary Gensler is he was brought in, I think, in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of folks, myself included, thought that he would be very retail friendly as far as equity market. He hasn't been. And they thought that he would be open minded as far as crypto and provide some clarity and regulation there that was needed in the space. And he's done the opposite. In fact, it seemed like on day one, when Gary Gensler entered the office, he thought that SEC stood for, instead of Securities and Exchange Commission, stop everything crypto. And he made it his mission to try to do that as much as possible. Of course, you may be familiar with the Bitcoin ETFs that are certainly adding a lot of institutional volume to Bitcoin. They were approved, but it was a long, long legal battle and fight. Of course, Gary Gensler did a number of other things too that had ramifications. So the three names that I think that'll be impacted from this shakeup are SoFi, PayPal, and Robinhood. I just want to go through and mention how Gary Gensler being in charge of the SEC over this time has impacted each of these three negatively. So first, most obviously with SoFi. SoFi got a banking charter a couple of years ago. And as a result, in agreement to obtaining that banking charter, they had to willingly divest from holding crypto entirely. They have a invest platform, which is okay. Their crypto assets were interesting, and it was nice to have that all in one ecosystem. And what happened is they ended up removing that entirely. So there's no more crypto offerings on SoFi at all. And for Robinhood, Robinhood's another one that has been impacted by Gary Gensler. If you look at Robinhood, earlier this year, they launched their crypto platform in the EU. Now, I know that most of us know the EU is very heavily regulated on almost everything, that the regulations take a little bit longer to go through and parse. Yet Robinhood actually offers more crypto than in the EU than in the United States, precisely because of Gary Gensler and the SEC's take on crypto. And so I think that may change. We'll take a look at what that change may look like here in a moment. Now, another way that Robinhood was impacted is that they also had to remove certain tokens, including Solana, which is very popular, and Cardano or ADA. Both are flying up right now in altcoin market from their platform entirely. They were very popular, but they were forced to do that because of regulatory scrutiny. And not in a clarifying, helpful way. And so as a result, they still track these names, but they're not able to offer them for trading at this time. One other impact as well has been on PayPal. Now, PayPal is not really thought of as a crypto play that much. They do have a number of crypto offerings on their platform, but it's very small. It's actually much smaller than Robinhood. It's really just based around four names primarily. Of course, they have their stable coin as well. And so Bitcoin and Ethereum are, of course, the big two on that platform, and the others are smaller players. But likely because of the SEC scrutiny, even with Alex Chris in charge of PayPal, who is very much in favor, especially of Ethereum. Of course, they launched their stablecoin on Solana blockchain as well. They have not launched any other crypto offerings. They added it to Venmo. They added it overseas to the UK. But here in the United States have largely just left it alone. Now, I think that changes pretty quickly. And I'm not the only one, too. You can see the market reaction. Part of this is the market likes certainty, even with Bitcoin. Bitcoin tends to do well in the later half of the year as well, especially once we get past September. And so Bitcoin has roared to new all-time highs. It touched $80,000 very briefly. Altcoins are also flying. Ethereum broke 3K as well. And it may be on its way to an all-time high. I'm not sure. I do have some crypto. I don't talk about it too much, but I do know the way that this will be impacted. Now, who do I think will be selected for the new SEC chair? I'm not sure, but this is one possibility that has been floated out as a rumor as one person that's being considered. This is Dan Gallagher. He is the chief legal and compliance officer at Robinhood. Is Robinhood pretty in favor of open crypto regulation and expansion? Absolutely. So Dan would be an excellent fit, but he is just one of many names. Now, whoever is put in there, Trump has made his position very clear on crypto. He was skeptical for a while, like many of the other big dogs that are in Bitcoin right now. But whoever gets in there is very likely going to be very open minded towards crypto, provide some clarity that's needed in the space. And then that's when things can begin to change. So let's take a quick look at Robinhood. Now, Robinhood, if we scroll up, this is what they're offering in the United States. You can see these names here that just fit on one page that is blown up. And there's a lot of names missing. And some of these, of course, are stable coins as well. They should be adding a new stable coin here shortly. Look at all these tokens that they track, but they actually don't offer access to. They just have real-time data. We'll just keep scrolling. Look at this. It's significantly longer than what they are able to offer right now access to. It's actually even longer than what they offer in the EU. And so these are ready to go. Even Cardano right there. Solana was down there as well. Once SEC regulation has clarified what the rules and regulations are regarding crypto, I think on day one after that, Robinhood turns all of these on. There's access to those right away. And of course, crypto is one of those platforms that is very cyclical for Robinhood. But having more access to these tokens, especially those that trade basically at almost no cost for the actual user, there is a payment for order flow on crypto that Robinhood gets a small commission. It's going to mean a significant amount of volume going Robinhood's way, especially with the Bitstamp acquisition, which will be finalized next year. Now, beyond Robinhood, SoFi still has the technology. They still have everything they built for their crypto offerings. And so if regulation clarifies and says, hey, you can hold a banking charter and you can also offer crypto on your platform, all of a sudden, SoFi, it may not be on day one, but very shortly, they may turn that back on. It won't be floodgates for them, but it is meaningful for SoFi as they try to build out their invest platform to be something that other people find value in long-term investing. And it's part of that flywheel effect too, that one-stop shop idea that SoFi has. For PayPal, it's a similar picture. They'll go from offering just a small handful of crypto, and they do track more as well, to being able to offer quite a bit more, and of course settle these trades with their Pay USD stablecoin. And so this should be very meaningful, I think, for all three of those, especially Robinhood. There is one company though that I think could be impacted in some ways positively, in some ways negatively. That is Coinbase. I think Coinbase is a very interesting company in play. It seems like they have very interesting technology as well. But one of the ways that Coinbase has benefited is there's far fewer players that are known by mainstream, average, everyday Americans that just want a little bit of crypto exposure. They go to Coinbase because Coinbase has the largest number of offerings. If they want to chase dog with hat or bonk coin, and I don't recommend those are meme coins, but you do you. You're probably going to not go to Uniswap or something like that. Instead, you're just going to go to Coinbase, and they have very high fees. And so if regulation allows more competition in the space, that's good for consumers. That's not so good for Coinbase because they'll either have lower margins. Even if they have higher volume, it's not going to offset because a lot of that will be going to some of these other players. And there's many of them here in this space. So let me know what you think, who you think might be the next head of the SEC, how you think that this will impact crypto, and if there are any other companies that you are thinking of that this may have a massive impact on. For now, I wish you happy and successful investing. Thanks for tuning in, liking, and subscribing.